News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I cannot believe it's the third hour already. Behold, Chris Crock Show. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Well, the White House, this is so crazy. The Associated Press says the White House is not ruling out a pardon. I repeat, the White House is, according to the Associated Press, not ruling out a pardon. And this is from the AP. White House not ruling out a pardon, a potential commutation. Not ruling out a potential commutation, forgive me, for Hunter Biden. That was the mumbling and word salad that KJP said on the plane. But the headline from the AP today, White House not ruling out a potential commutation for Hunter after the conviction. And then this happens like at sometime later on in the day from the Daily Mail. I have not heard this audio anywhere. But here's what I have from the Daily Mail. Quote, breaking. So this was not out in the morning. This was out in the afternoon sometime. And that's when this broke. Biden insists he will not pardon Hunter or commute his sentence for gun crimes. He answered a simple no because he was asked about, will you pardon him? I mean, I heard that part, but I didn't hear, will you pardon him? And then he answered with a simple no. And when asked directly if he would commute Hunter's sentence, would you commute it? No. But do you really think he's going to keep that promise? I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not trying to play a game or just say something to get you riled up or anything. But I mean, honestly, do you actually believe that Joe Biden will not pardon him or not commute Hunter's sentence? Commute means you're still guilty, but you have no jail time. Do you really think Joe Biden is going to watch his son go to jail for, honestly, the sentencing? We went through this yesterday. It was incredible to me. Honestly, it really was. Because you had one, a former assistant attorney general, and then you also had a criminal defense attorney, and then you had a Loyola law professor from Loyola University, and then you had other people that said that he's going to go to jail. The statistics are not good. That's shocking. Weren't you hearing for months that he was not going to go to jail even if he was convicted? No. I mean, they were all saying, nonviolent offender, first time, da-da-da-da. No. George Noriega actually doubled a similar case, for example. She had a similar case in front of her, I think, last year or so. And there was a man who the prosecution said, we'd like him to go to jail for 6 months. She doubled it. She sent him for a year. Holy crap. And then the average sentence for this, the conviction rate of people brought up on this charge is 92% the prison sentence rate was 92% of people that were convicted of this. There were 58 or 56 people convicted of it in the past 5 years. All right, so do you think Joe actually will pardon or commute Hunter's sentence? Do you actually think? Because think about something else too, by the way. Got to add another layer to this before I ask you the official question and give out the number. When he gets the tax trials coming up in the fall, like before the elections happening in like September, October, he's going to get convicted on that because there's dead in the water evidence of everything on that laptop. It's entered as evidence. They call him in the documents, according to Catherine Herod. She actually has the documents from the filings of Attorney General Weiss, or U.S. Attorney, or Special Prosecutor Weiss, U.S. Attorney Weiss in California for the filings, and it calls him a lobbyist and lawyer, which means lobbyist in these foreign countries. That's FARA violations. Will they bring it up? She said that this shows he might. I thought that was expired, but who knows? If you can bootstrap something that the FEC, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and the Joe Biden Justice Department looked at and said nothing there, and then 7 years later revive an expired misdemeanor and bootstrap it, you could do anything. All right, so do you think this is actually going to hurt Biden's chances at re-election? or a little bit, if he does pardon or commute Hunter's sentence, and do you think he will? Because you think about this. Let's say he gets 12 to 16 months, which is quite possible in this gun case. Maybe he won't, but it's quite possible based on Noriega and the other 92% of the sentences that were given down, prison sentences, the convictions in this realm. The other thing is, when he gets to tax stuff, he's going to get convicted on some of that tax stuff. He's dead in the water. That's not a question. They'll try to play a kabuki theater game like they did on this gun charge, but it's not going to win. And you get that, now you got an enhancer. You've already been convicted of a previous felony. See that? When you got a felony on your record and you get multiple felonies after that for tax evasion, which is much more serious, you're in some serious trouble. This guy could be spending 2 to 10 years in prison. I don't know. I'm going to say a minimum of 1 total to, this is my wild guess out of my rump, I have no idea what I'm talking about, guess here. But I'm going to say between 1 and 10 years. Maybe we'll go with like 5 to 7. And you can't say time served in federal. It's like you have to serve like 98% of your sentence, or they don't let you out for good time. You might get 3 to 5 or 3 to 8% shaved off your time. You don't get half the time you do like in state prisons. So I do think he's going for 2 to 6 years, or 1.5 to 5 years total, or something like that. Maybe even up to 8 or so. So do you really think Joe Biden's going to let his son go to prison for that long? He's going to die while the kid's in prison. I know he's not a kid. He's 53, but he considers him his kid. I understand how that works. He's older than I am, for gosh sakes. So I don't think there's any way he's going to do that. I think he's lying. I think he'll, this is how it is. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. Lines wide open. 800-288-WBAP. I also want to share another piece in this pie. I have a separate piece of the pie, but nonetheless put it in there. I want to talk about how the Biden campaign was seizing on the fact today that Trump, for the first time since January 6th, went to the Capitol. You have to hear the commercial, the political ad that Joe Biden dropped today, his team at least dropped today, and it is absolutely over-the-top hysterical, and they think it's super effective. They're like, yeah, take that. I don't think it's going to work. All right. I'll be playing that for you coming up shortly. Then also Trump meets a big-time influencer dude from not just social media, but YouTube. He's got 21 million followers on YouTube. And he just interviewed the president for his podcast. And that's going to be fun to play that for him. And what he gives him as a gift is just something else. What Trump gives him as a gift. All right, Bill in Dallas, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Bill.
Hi, I think you nailed it on the head. I think that there's no chance that Hunter won't get pardoned, even if it's the IRS thing, whatever he's guilty of, he'll be pardoned on the if Biden is reelected, which I don't think is going to happen. He's going to do it like on the midnight deal, like on the last day of his term. He's going to do a bunch of pardons. He's going to pardon all of his cronies and family members and all the people that are in that Biden Incorporated. And then if he doesn't get reelected, he'll have nothing to lose, and he'll just probably pardon him right away.
Yeah, I agree, because he doesn't want that young. What do I keep saying? That he doesn't want that 53-year-old man that's his son going to jail for one day. There's no way. It's like, Dad, please, even though he's 53, son, I'll protect you. Now that I rode your nose to the grindstone, ran you ragged, allowed you to be, and pimped you out to the world to get money for us. What Trump says is the right way to put it, the Biden crime family. And when somebody like Dana Perino says that's a great branding that works very well, that tells me that's good. So I like that, the Biden crime family. I do want you and me to not get our hopes up too high that it'll win. The numbers are looking great right now, but we never know, right? We have to assume the worst and hope for the best.
Well, I think that I heard something about the big time wheels, the big money guys are starting to abandon Biden because and give money to Trump, and because the economy's so bad, people are spending all their money just on food and trying to find a place to live, and they can't afford anything else.
That's correct.
And they can't buy the stuff that they're selling, so they're not happy.
That's correct. One of the founders of BlackRock just did that the past week or two. The tech people in the Silicon Valley hosted him and did a sold-out fundraiser. All the tech people there, the billionaires, and he got $12 million that night, I think it was, or was it $50 million? I don't know. He got a big haul in one night, and he did a whole sold-out thing for them in San Francisco. It's pretty amazing what's going on. You're right about that. Thank you for your call, Bill. Appreciate it. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you think Biden will end up pardoning or commuting Hunter's sentence? Because he very well stands to have between 10 and 16 months in jail for the gun charges that he's convicted of, and then there's a very, very slim chance that he won't get convicted on some of those tax evasion ones, and those are serious ones, maybe a FARA violation. That would be years in prison, and I don't think his dad's going to let his son go to jail for a year to 5 years or 8 years, because he'll die while his son's in prison. He ain't going to let his son be there and only see him, once a month or something. Or he's not going to let that happen. There's just no question, in my opinion. How about you? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Coming up next, we're continuing to take your calls on this, but also we're going to add something to the fold. Biden campaign seizing on Trump's Capitol Hill visit today with a televised reminder of his January 6th role. You got to hear this ad. It is hysterical. They think it's going to be a winner for them. I think it's a joke. We'll play it for you and see what you think. Alan Dallas is coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, a News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Did you see what happened at the initial meeting of Logan Paul and Donald J. Trump and what he gave him? I'll tell you about that in just a sec. Plus, you're going to hear this new ad from the Biden campaign saying, now that he showed up on Capitol Hill for the first time since January 6th. January 6th. Wait till you hear this. It's fantastic. It's funny. But first, do you think Joe Biden will pardon or commute his son's sentence? Because he's looking at over a year in jail, most likely, on the gun charge. A lot of people are saying, a lot of experts, and previous sentencing guidelines and such in previous cases. But also, when he does the tax evasion case in September, October-ish before the election, that's going to be adjudicated before the election. He might get 2 to 8 years on that. Who knows? I don't think there's any way Joe Biden's going to allow his son to go to jail for any length of time. I just don't. Not even for a night. I really don't think so. I think he's going to do it after he gets reelected or loses before he's out. Alan Dallas, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP.
Evening, Chris. Enjoy your show.
Thank you.
I don't want him to get jail time, and I don't want his pardon, and I don't want him commuted. I'm a Republican. I'm 70. I've only voted for a Democrat once. What I would like to see would be him get probation for 10 years and drug tested every month, because he'd have to pay a probation fee and he'd have to pay a drug test fee. If he goes to jail, get no money out of him. He gets commuted, no money out of him. 10 years probation. He got to keep his nose clean.
So even though people that have been prosecuted for this same, for similar cases, almost the exact same things, right?
Right.
Of those convicted, 52 of them have been sent to prison. And let me say it again. Of the convictions on this, I think it is 52 were sent to prison in convictions. Let me strike that. 52% were convicted. No. Gosh, I'm sorry, brain farting. 52 cases where they were convicted, and 92% of those cases were sentenced to jail. Okay, out of 52 cases in the past 5 years. So if you want him to be one of the 7% that doesn't go to jail for this after being convicted?
Correct, because he's a president's son. I can't think of what the logistics will be involved of putting him in prison, and I don't want him killed and be a martyr.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. They're saying, I know you don't agree with this either, I'm sure, but they're saying Trump, what's his name, that crazed former FBI director who did the whole Russia collusion and Hillary Clinton thing, what's his name? The Mueller report, what's that guy's name? The FBI director, Robert Ray, his predecessor that was fired, Comey. Comey said they can put him on, it's not a problem, they can put him in a trailer about Trump on the grounds away from all the general population, and he'll be fine. What do you say to that for Hunter? I'm not playing a game or, being all cutesy, but what do you say to that?
I say I hear you. I say I'd still like him to get 10 years probation, because if you want to get that cat again, other than what's going on in California.
No, you'll get him on both of those.
Yeah, well, I'd say he could be, I'd like to see him get probation and drug tested.
Okay. Even though, so you want him to be treated differently because he's the president's son. So justice is depending on who you are, is what you're saying.
When has it not been?
Well, okay, so you support that. You support justice being depending on who you are.
No, I don't. But that's the way of the world.
No, I'm not trying to be mean either, but I'm saying no because you're supporting things that you don't like. You're Correct. Supporting justice based on his name. Okay, Al, I got to let you go, but you're contradicting yourself. You're saying I don't like it, but it's the way of the world. It depends on who you are. And you're against that, but yet you're for it in this case. You're not. You're contradicting yourself. That's all. I don't mean negative on you, but you're just contradicting yourself. Just not a good argument, in my opinion. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number. But I do appreciate your call. 800-288-9227. Trump meets Logan Paul, a young influencer. He's the one fighting Tyson soon here at AT&T Stadium. Here he is meeting Trump. Listen to this. He hands him a gift.
Oh, no way. We got gifts.
Oh, nice. Sells for a lot of money, this thing.
Oh, no way. Thank you, President.
She split it up. Here's
amazing.
This is
Is this your mugshot?
Yeah, can you believe it?
No way. You're a gangster.
This is what we're reduced to.
No way. No way.
Should we put them on now? Yeah.
That's
Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
And it sells. Well, Elvis had one. Frank Sinatra had one.
This shirt.
But we've eclipsed them a long time ago.
This is mugshot on T-shirts, and he gave him. What does it say? Hold on, I gotta look back. What it says? It says "Never Surrender." And it's got his mugshot. Yes. Oh my gosh! I got another piece that's a short, but I'll play it for you coming up next with Logan Paul and his interview, and they bring up Joe Biden, and it's fascinating to hear that go down. Okay, all right, that is up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3, and then you get to hear the ad, the January 6th ad. Oh, Trump's back in at Capitol Hill today. Oh, January 6th ad. Push it in the VCR and hit play. You know what I'm saying? It's not a VCR, but you know what I'm saying. Hit play. Put it on now. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. Okay, here we go. Here's another little piece from Logan Paul in inviting Joe Biden on the podcast as he's interviewing Donald Trump right in front of him. Listen to this. It's a short one, but listen to this. This is really good, though. This is very telling.
We'd like to extend the invite to Joe Biden if he'd like to come on this podcast.
Yeah, I think eventually. You should. You know what chance you have of getting him on? I'd say less than 1%. Okay? If you did that, I'd actually watch that one.
They're laughing. Isn't that great? Oh, that's great. They're having fun. Nobody's angry. Nobody's mad. They're hanging out. And I think Trump's right. And the way he says it is so funny, too. Meantime, as you know, today Trump went to Capitol Hill. He hasn't been there since January 6th. And so there he was. And what did Joe Biden do? The moment he showed up for the first time since January 6th, Joe Biden had this ad ready to go, and he played it. Listen to this. Get ready to get scared.
On
January 6th, Donald Trump lit a fire in this country.
140 officers were injured. The siege lasted for 7 hours.
Stoking the flames of division and hate. Now he's pouring gasoline.
They were unbelievable patriots.
Pledging to pardon the extremists who tried to overthrow our government.
We will give them pardons.
Inciting them to try again. There is nothing more sacred than our democracy. But Donald Trump's ready to burn it all down.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Yes, Donald Trump's gonna burn it all down. Burn, burn, fire, fire. Ah. Yes. That's it, guys. It's over. He's gonna burn it all down. Do you actually think this is effective? Does this ad move you towards Biden and away from Trump? And is January 6th something that you think will actually help Biden and the Dems win this November? Because I don't think it will. I don't think anybody forgot about January 6th. I don't think anybody is under has any memory lapse on that. They know. Nobody likes it that I'm aware of. But it doesn't matter. The point is that the point of it is that everybody knows about it. So there's nothing new here. So all he's doing is saying he'll burn it all down. I think that's so funny. Is January 6th something you actually think is going to help Biden and the Dems win this November? And does this ad move you towards Biden and away from Trump? 800-288-9227 is our number. That's 800-288-WBAP. And I want to play something else that you've probably heard, but it's about January 6th and whose fault it was and how it happened, since it's brought up today about Joe Biden playing that Trump's going to burn it all down. Let's play that last part again. It's just too funny. Hold on. Wait, that's my flames.
On January 6th, Donald Trump lit a fire in this country.
Okay, hold on. And go back towards the end where he's going to burn it all down.
Inviting them to try again. There is nothing more sacred than our democracy. But Donald Trump's ready to burn it all down.
Oh! Yes! Yes! Give it to me again! I'm going to burn it all down! Rachel Maddow. You're going to put me in a camp! If you don't shut up, I will. Get out of here. What a joke, right? I think he's going to put me in a camp. Get out of here. The only camp you're going to is some camp where you spend $1 million, whatever, $10,000 a night to glamp. Get out of here, you disgrace. Where were we? This is so funny. These people are nuts. Now, here's Nancy Pelosi on January 6th. Since we're going to bring up that, here we go. This is something you didn't know about. They hid it until this just was released.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability.
By the way, this is Pelosi talking to in a car as they were leaving the Capitol on January 6th after the bad stuff went down. And she is talking to her chief of staff. And listen to this in the car.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
No, there's not a question of how they had. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
I take responsibility. The direct quote. We have a responsibility, Terry. That's Pelosi in an exchange with her chief of staff, Terry McCullough, on the evacuation in the car leaving the Capitol on that day of January 6th. We have a responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability, and we should have. Where are the Capitol Police? Why weren't the National Guard there? I take responsibility for not having them just prepared for more. No, she doesn't, does she? Has she taken responsibility? No. Donald Trump is going to burn it all down.
Again, there is nothing more sacred than our democracy, but Donald Trump's ready to burn it all down.
He's going to burn it all down. He's a wild animal, burning everything alive. Putting everybody in jail. Do a little Dean scream for you. Then now we can insert the soundbite of Joe Biden. They're going to put you back in chains. Okay. I'm amusing myself, but what's funnier is watching them laugh at me when I'm laughing right here at the studios. Half of all voters expect Biden to forget where he is during the first debate in Atlanta and walk off the wrong side of the stage. This is from the Daily Mail's poll. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to try to say it without laughing. Half of all voters expect Joe Biden to forget where he is during Sorry, I can't read this. Half of all voters expect Joe Biden to forget where he is during the first debate in Atlanta, pee his pants. I made that up. Half of all voters expect Biden to forget where he is during the first debate in Atlanta and walk up the wrong side of the stage. But could those low expectations spell trouble for Trump? They could. You know how and why? If you say he's going to fail and drool and not know what to say, which he does a lot, but if Trump keeps saying that, he's going to get screwed like last time, 4 years ago. Learn your lesson. Say, I'm sure he'll do just fine. And then let him fall on his face, and then you go, wow, I guess he had a bad performance. Let the people decide, not you. Make it about the policies. Make it about what you'll do. Meantime, did you see this today? Speaking of forgetting who you are and walking off the wrong stage or falling down, and the moment Italy's Giorgia Meloni has to grab Joe Biden, turn him around, and show him what they're supposed to be doing. Did you see that? Okay, it's on my Twitter feed at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrock. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you following me? I tweet a lot of stuff, and a lot of what we talk about is tweeted on my feed. And this one, too. Like that Pelosi audio I just played for you is from the Pelosi, from my Twitter feed. I'll retweet it again right now. Okay. The Prime Minister of Italy, there was like all the G7 leaders. They watched some people come down on in an Italian field from the sky. What do you call it? Not parasailing, paratroopers, where people coming down from the sky, right? On parachutes. And they were all gathering. They're about to take a picture. And then Joe turns around, like always, and he's looking at something else. And he's like 5 feet away from everybody else. And she has to turn around, sees him 5, 6, 7 feet away, walks over to him, puts her hand on his arm and turns him around on his back and turns him around and brings him back over. That's our president. And meantime, voters have real doubt about Kamala as potential president. They have real doubts about Kamala as a potential president, a new poll finds. This is from the Politico. Their political money console poll today says only a third of voters think Harris would win an election if she were to become the Democrat nominee. 1/3. You can do it, right? Hey. 1/3 of all voters might want to vote for you. They think it's a chance for you. This is your chance to move in, right?
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Oh, that was a little too loud. Sorry, I'll try that again.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
There we go. There's a chance. I'll play something for... I'll play something for you from her. And this is, before I play it, this is 4 minutes. I'm going to play like 30 seconds. This is 4 minutes... straight minutes on my Twitter feed of Kamala Harris being unburdened. Are you ready? Same thing over and over again over years. Same thing. Ready?
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What we can see, what we believe can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Do you want more?
Can be.
Should we give you a little more? Yeah, these guys want more. This is food for your soul. This is nourishment, isn't it?
Unburdened by what has been. Who we can be.
Come to Kamala.
Unburdened
Come
by
to her.
who we have been. What can be.
Embrace her.
Unburdened by what has been. Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
Don't we all need some mamala?
Unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has
Hopefully
been.
she didn't abort you.
Be unburdened.
You want this on your, okay, producer Garrett, who is, Garrett 2, who is only, how old are you? 24?
Unburdened by what
23, you young buck.
Unburdened by what has
He's going to put this on his tombstone, he says.
Unburdened by what has been. What can be.
He's saving right now
by what has
for his tombstone, his funeral plans.
What can be. What
He's
can be. Unburdened by what has been. What can be.
Isn't this amazing? 4 minutes.
What can be. Unburdened by what has been. What can be. Unburdened by what has
this is
been.
catching me. The mood is right.
Unburdened by what has been. What can be. Unburdened by what has been. What can be. Unburdened by what has been. What could be. Unburdened by what has been.
Our president right here.
Be. Unburdened by what has been. What can be. Unburdened by what has been. What can be.
Oh, wow.
Unburdened by what has been.
This is beautiful.
What can be. Unburdened by what
This is
has
hope.
been. What can be.
Yes.
What should be.
Yes.
Unburdened
Wait,
by what has
she added what should be. I'm confused. This is hard. Well, let's just maybe we can make something of it.
been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Are you done, Producer Garrett, too, or do you want more?
Unburdened.
Don't lie to me. You want to come back to the milk? Want a few more sips?
Unburdened by what has been. What can be.
You want some more milk? What?
Unburdened by what has been.
No, we should not cut it off. You said maybe we should cut it off. All right. How about you, my colleague over there?
What has been.
You want to cut it off?
What can be.
No, you don't. You want Mama.
About what
Embrace
can be.
her.
Unburdened by
She's
what
cuddling you.
See what can be.
She's petting you on the head. She's
what can be.
nourishing you like a mother.
Unburdened by what has
America's
been.
mom.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. Where we
News Talk 820 WBAP now, on FM at 93.3. All that laughing and craziness has cost my voice a little, but it was well worth it. Wouldn't trade it for the world. I was weeping that whole commercial, profoundly and deeply weeping over Kamala's 10, 20-year-long same statement over and over again. You know, Joe Biden at least would, he plagiarizes, but he plagiarized new things every other year. He wouldn't be doing the same thing every single time. It's amazing. It's profound, and I suppose that's what makes her so great. Just saying the same thing over and over again for years and years and years and saying it like she means it, even though it's been said every other day forever. I wonder, will that woman, if you just put her in a room and close the door, would she just say that over and over again to herself and smile? Like some of those mental patients in the ward, Just a thought. Goldie Hawn says L.A. is terrible after becoming a victim to multiple home break-ins in a 4-month span. So she is leaving. Now, she's 78. Her husband, of course, her live-in boyfriend, sadly, they should have gotten married 50 years ago. She and her boyfriend, Kurt Russell, she says that her home was robbed once recently while she was out to dinner for a few hours with Kurt. What if we couldn't live in L.A.? Where could we live? We both decided Palm Desert. It's so safe, she said on an interview with Kelly Ripa. It's just because L.A. is terrible. I mean, we were robbed once. But then she said, when we came back, we went in the house. I went upstairs and I walked in my closet. I just lost it. They had broken in from the balcony to our bedroom, our closets. And they completely knocked down my door, which is a safe door. So they're very, very sophisticated. They got a lot of my goodies, if you know what I mean. She says, so I'm thinking that's it. It's got to be it. It's got to be it. The odds are not going to happen again. And what happened? Well, 4 months later, I hear this big thump upstairs, she says. She was alone with just her dog. She heard a startling noise in another room. I hear this big thump upstairs. I was alone. Kurt wasn't there. I went, what the heck is that? It was just like, was that a sonic boom? Did somebody jump somewhere? And as it turned out, the next day we discovered they were trying to get in my bedroom while I was in the house. That's terrifying, says Ripa. So you have what are these people worth to combine? Would you Google that? What's the net worth of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell? Pull that real fast. Can you? Net worth Goldie Hawn? I'll do net worth Kurt Russell. All right, you do Goldie Hawn, I'll do Kurt Russell. Net worth Kurt Russell. 100 million. Okay, so we're looking at a combined 190 million, and they can't keep the house safe and themselves safe. What does that tell you? So she now has a guard. I have a guard, especially when I'm alone now. I'm never without a guard. So we have a nice relationship with your guard. You're darn right you do. So there you go. Welcome to Los Angeles. Keep voting Democrat. Everything's fine, right? Keep putting in the Soros guys. And duck and cover and run.